Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. Over the past 7 years, we've understood what matters most to you, the entrepreneur. And in year 8, we're taking head on two of your most pressing concerns, that of funding and mentoring. I'm Sananda Jayaseelan. We're continuing to bring you two special series tonight. First up is a deep dive as far as Leaders of Tomorrow is concerned into the Dubai market, an expert interview live here on the show with Qafila. We'll also be joined by Dubai Internet City. On the other side of a break is Ballantyne's Golf Retreat presents 12 undaunted greats. Tonight, the focus on GoWork. Let's kick off tonight's show then by being joined live by Jithin Manoharan. He's the co-founder of Qafila. Jithin, good having you here on the show tonight. I want to start by talking about the history and the journey really behind Qafila. What can you tell our viewers about that?
Freight forwarding or logistics is an age-old industry which hasn't had much of an innovation for quite long years. One of the main reasons behind this is it follows a very traditional, old-school approach where things are being handled in a traditional way and information passes in a different silos. There are multiple partners involved in each step of logistics, but they all operate in their own silos and information does not get passed through all the partners involved. So this was one of the major reasons that we decided we need to have some changes to happen in logistics. And Dubai being one of the hub in the Middle East and for logistics, we found this has to be the right market for us to start this venture.
Jithin, I want to talk about what Qafila represents, and we're talking all things technology here on the show on Leaders of Tomorrow tonight. So if you can give us a sense of what kind of technology really that you're using?
Qafila means caravan in Arabic, and what it represents is the caravan movement during the Silk Road days, where it takes goods across different countries and continents on as a caravan. And this is where the idea came up. What Qafila does is simplifying logistics by moving goods from point A to point B using an online platform. And how it does that is having all the different partners involved in the logistics process connected to one single window operation where all the information flows and the stakeholders can see updates about their shipment at any given point in time, whether it's in the air, whether it's in the sea, or whether it's being picked up from the port or it's in the warehouse. All the details can be accessed 24/7. And one of the other features that Qafila provides is a transparent pricing and visibility. Most of the time what happens is a box of cargo or a container has to pass through at least 6 to 7 entities in between before it leaves the warehouse and reaches the destination in some other country. And since all the different partners are working in their own silos, the information does not get passed on to each other, and it takes quite a long time for someone to know where exactly their cargo is. And having a platform like that, we have integrated all the partners involved. So you get real-time data flow on the platform, and you get all the updates.
I want to understand In5 better and how really that has benefited your company. What can you tell us?
I would say we had a panel of 15 to 20 members who vetted our proposal. We had a presentation with them and they were sold on the idea, and from there it just took a matter of days to have the company incorporated and the license ready for us to start operating. And one of the other major benefit is the subsidized costing that In5 provides, and the access to multiple, I would say 3 co-working spaces. And these days content is one of the key marketing tool for most of the brands, and In5 provides facilities to create content.
How has Dubai, as an ecosystem, as a geography, really represented and really benefited startups? What can you tell us about, why startups should be based in a market like Dubai? What the biggest benefits, what the biggest highlights and the opportunities are for startups, Jithin?
There's always a room for a new startup in Dubai, and it is one of the most market where most of the startups usually start their business and then eventually expand to the rest of the Middle Eastern markets.
Jithin, one last question as we've run out of time in this interview. For an entrepreneur who's just starting out, for a budding entrepreneur, what advice would you give them about starting out in Dubai?
I mean, there are quite a lot of options in Dubai these days, mainly the free zones, which clearly avoids all the uncertainty in terms of the ownership and stuff, and where you own 100% of your idea.
All right, Jithin, thanks so much for your time here tonight. All right, so that was our first conversation tonight as far as what is making Dubai the go-to place when it comes to all things technology and startups, moving away, of course, from its heritage tag of being a tourism and lifestyle destination. Our second interview tonight is one I did a short while earlier with Dubai Internet City to talk about why and how Dubai is offering exciting opportunities for startups. Listen in. Ammar Al-Malik, Managing Director of Dubai Internet City, as well as Dubai Outsource City. Thanks so much for your time here on the show, Ammar. I do want to get a brief sense, first off, to kick off this conversation about Dubai Internet City. What can you tell us, by way of introduction, by way of history, really, of Dubai Internet City?
Dubai Internet City started in the year 1999, and the sole focus at the time was to develop the technology ecosystem in the Middle East. At the time, there was no Middle East ecosystem, not many technology companies here, either in the country or around us. So His Highness's vision was to establish Dubai and Dubai Internet City as the technology hub of the Middle East. And for the last 20 years, we have been very successful in getting the larger corporations, such as Microsoft's, the Googles, the Oracle, the IBM, the Cisco's. But not only that, in the past 5 years, we have focused a lot on startups, and some of the companies located as well in this technology hub are most well known in the region. Okay. So this has transformed from a desert to a real technology hub of this region. And for us, this is just the beginning.
No business, particularly the ones that we talk to, which are entrepreneurs, can operate outside of an ecosystem. And I do know that Dubai has this system of collaborative growth and this collaborative ecosystem really, in an atmosphere really, or an ecosystem really of encouraging collaboration between the different stakeholders when it comes to doing business. Give us a sense of that and how that's really working, and really the biggest strengths of that, the biggest opportunities that you see there.
Very good question, Sunanda, because that is the secret sauce of Dubai Internet City. Actually, it's the secret sauce of any innovation center in the world, and that is to mix larger corporations with smaller innovators and startups, and put a little bit of government in that, along with, of course, financial institutions and capital. This is how innovation happens, and the SMEs and the collaborations between the larger corporations, the smaller ones, and the academia has been an integral part of our strategy for 20 years. That is why around us you see universities and training institutes within our community that we have here.
We were just speaking with Qafila about In5, and I do want to pose that same question to you and ask if you can talk about the importance of In5 when it comes to Dubai Internet City, and really the sort of benefits, the opportunities, or the synergies, if you can name a few.
In5 was established approximately 5 years ago, and its sole focus is for startups.
Okay.
This platform has successfully so far graduated almost 200 startups from it. We have these startups have collected actually around 400 million in terms of funding. So it's a unique accelerator that we have in Dubai Internet City, designed for startups to grow from here.
Okay, specifically then, how does one become a member of In5? If you can give us a sense of, international or Indian companies perhaps, which have become a part of In5, and use that as sort of like a case study to talk to our viewers?
So any company around the world can apply for In5. They can apply through our website, in5.ae. There, the program will start, and the program will contain documentations, and basically what we need to know is, what is your idea? Who are you as a person? What team do you have? This is, in general, what we look for in N5. Indian companies are part of N5. In fact, 60% of all startups and the people that are on this platform of N5 are Asian, and a large majority of that is from India.
Dubai, one would say, has evolved from being a travel and a lifestyle hub to becoming a startup hub. And as we are moving, we're sitting, of course, at the top of 2020 for the rest of the year and going forward. If you can talk to us about what has really helped this evolution, where do you see that headed, the strengths and the opportunities there?
So historically speaking, Dubai has always been the trading hub between the East and the West. Of course, India is a big partner in trading with Dubai. And since the 70s, Dubai has always been coming up with projects that are integral to the growth of the city. And we believe that Dubai Internet City was part of the story of Dubai when it was launched in the year 1999, because it allowed technology to foster and basically have roots in this area. So there are many conferences in Dubai that allow people from the West and the East to come together and mix in this unique city and meet a lot of these companies and the global companies and the startups. So this factor has been an important role in concreting Dubai as a technology center for the region.
Ammar, we're running out of time in this interview, so very quickly, as a last question, if you can talk to us about the vision for Dubai Internet City and leave our viewers with that.
It's a very interesting question, Saranda, but Dubai Internet City is based on talent. So we're at 25,000 people today, as mentioned, but our target is always people, it's always humanity. And we want to make sure that this 25,000 people become 40,000, become hopefully 100,000 in the next decade. Talent is everything. So we want to make sure that talent is available, and that is our strategic objective.
All right, Ammar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's slip into a short break. On the other side, Ballantine Golf Retreat presents 12 undaunted greats. Our focus tonight is on GoWork. Back in just a moment. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight our special series Ballantine Golf Retreat presents 12 undaunted greats. We are in conversation with GoWork. In this special segment, we're talking about the co-working space, and even as the market for co-working is expanding and booming, how companies, particularly like GoWork that I caught up with a short while earlier, are maintaining a USP and are emerging as front runners. Take a listen to this conversation that I did with Sudeep Singh, the CEO of the company. Sudeep, such a pleasure having you here, and with everyone that we're speaking with on this special series, there are highlights of both your professional and your personal journey, which has been so resilient and which has been so exemplary. So congratulations on that. I want to talk about the co-working space and the fact that it's such an exciting market. Everyone is talking co-working, and there's such a huge opportunity. So I just want to sort of set the context for our viewers, run us through the co-working space and the opportunities here in the country.
Thank you for having me on the show, Sananda. I've been very, very fascinated with the co-working globally. Now, if you see, co-working has transpired. It has been there for many, many years. But it's transpired and evolved over the years. Initially, they were called incubation centers, which was only meant for startups. And there was a lot about aid given to them. Then slowly they turned into accelerators where people or the companies started funding these startups along with the additional services or the aids that were given to them.
Okay.
From there is when co-working came out, where the industry said that why not use such spaces for larger team sizes and make it more cost effective for companies. And that is what has happened. So I've been following this trend for the last over a decade now, and I always saw potential in India that we could develop a co-working company which would probably not just keep a lookout for startups but also for larger companies.
Sure.
So that's how the journey has been. And that's how I came about starting with GoWork, and with me and my co-founders, we've been at it with this journey for the last 3 years, successfully been able to raise some capital, and we are growing slowly.
I want to talk about your fundraising strategy and get you to talk about your strategy when it comes to really raising funds and what your experience has been. I understand you've raised 53 million debt capital from BlackRock's private credit team. That was as recently as last year. Run us through that.
Sunanda, to be honest, I have a very, very different view when it comes to fundraising, and that's probably one of the reasons that we were able to attract a company like BlackRock or a private equity company like BlackRock and CLSA Partners.
Sure.
I don't chase valuations as an entrepreneur. I like to stay profitable from day one. I like to keep my books green. So I think as long as you are adding value to the business and the business model and making it profitable, I think valuations will come over a period of time. So for us, it was way different, the way we approached the private equity and the other investors while we were fundraising. They were pretty surprised to see a startup which was highly profitable from day one. We were not burning cash. We were very conservative about spending our cash, and we had some positive cash flows. So I think I would inspire and tell all entrepreneurs that they should not chase valuations, because at the end of the day, if you're creating value by doing your business, valuations would always chase you and not the other way around.
Sudeep, when we were talking about trends earlier, co-working spaces initially started off in tier 1 markets, but now even tier 2, tier 3 are also becoming big markets when it comes to the co-working space. Maybe similarities or differences really between these markets and tier 1 markets that you can give your insights on for our viewers.
See, from a perspective of tier 2, there is a lot of an influx of large companies getting set up. So two great examples of these cities are Pune and Hyderabad. Now the government in both these cities have done really well attracting a lot of large companies to come and set up shop, and they've done a good job. It becomes really interesting for co-working players like us to actually penetrate that market, because the cost of real estate is fairly cheaper than tier 1 cities. There is more room for us to create new concepts and bring about new concepts. Like for instance, at GoWork in Gurgaon, we tried out this concept which was the sleeping pod, which are fairly new to the country, and we are the first ones to actually incorporate that, and we've been getting a fantastic response. We like to, wherever we go next, we certainly like to bring those concepts there and have people, indulge and make use of it.
Okay.
The second, I think, differentiation would be that we can, since the real estate is relatively really cheap, we can go in for large campuses rather than small spaces and try and create a campus sort of a structure with all these benefits and amenities that we can add value to the communities and to our clients.
Even as there's a massive opportunity, there's also massive competition when it comes to the co-working space. How do you perhaps take on competition? What is your strategy? And you can use that to really talk to our viewers on that.
See, I see competition as very, very healthy. And the reason I say this, there's room and there's play for everybody in this co-working segment. Every company is trying to define their own target segment, and we have ours. And we know where to add value. This co-working being not just a real estate play, it's a hospitality play as well. So from a service standpoint, one has to be really, really thorough with the kind of services that you offer to your clients, and how you kind of build that community aspect within an organization to add value to them.
All right, Sudeep, we have to let you go. What next for you? What's next in the short term that you can leave us with? So
a short-term view that we are looking at is we are now looking at growth. So we are at the growth phase. I always tell entrepreneurs that there are 4 stages to a startup, where the first stage is start, then you sustain, then you survive, and then you scale. So for us, we are at the scale part. We're at the 4th stage, and we like to gracefully now scale and see where we can add value to what city and to what micro market. As of now, we just announced that we are entering into Noida. We've expanding to other parts of Gurgaon, like DLF Cyber City, and slowly and steadily we'll keep moving forward, and we will try and get into the so-called managed office services aspect, where we would like to manage large offices and large campuses. Because the clients are educated about this. They understand that we can help them save anywhere between 15 to 30% of their costs, operating costs, which is a very, very big saving on the company balance sheets.
Sudeep, thank you so much for your time here on the show. Completely out of time on this episode as we're ending tonight. I do want to also talk about something that we here, the leaders of tomorrow, are very excited by, and that is our partnership with ODUP, the most trusted name for anything and everything to do with startups, future trends, evaluation, etc. This is a once-a-week capsule that brings you the most incisive information on everything that you need to know as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned. Tonight, the focus is on the startup of the week, and that's Ninja Cut. Take a look.
Ninja Cart is located in Bengaluru and was founded in 2015. This startup's total funding raised is $159 million. At its last round of funding, the company's market valuation stood at $1 billion. Taking a closer look at funding details, Ninja Cart has raised $13.64 million in Series A, $34.8 million in Series B, $100.4 million in Series C funding, and $10 million from others. That's a wrap-up of our Startup Monitor for this week. We'll continue to bring you the most in-depth content on the startup space week after week, right here on Leaders of Tomorrow.